What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, therefore it's my day. Let's get going. Universal Monster Week. I chose to review The Invisible Man. 1933's The Invisible Man. I'd never seen it before. It was really nice. Sat down with the family, watched it, and loved it. Great flick. Amazing. Just loved it. James Whale is the director. You may remember him. He directed Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Showboat. And, after we watched that, I was like, you know what? I also have Gods and Monsters, which is kind of loosely based on the tail end of James Whale's life. So we gave this another watch last night and loved it again. It's such a great movie. The performances are amazing. Ian McKellen plays James Whale. Brendan Fraser plays the new gardener for James Whale. And Lynn Redgrave plays the housekeeper for James Whale. And, she had been there a long time and she takes care of him. Really, the performances, awesome. Please check this out. This is a good flick as well. Now, back to The Invisible Man. It is based on the H.G. Wells novel. Let's get right into it. It's the story of a chemist. His name is Jack Griffin. And he had experimented with these really dangerous, this one particular drug, which is very dangerous. It's known to kind of suck the color out of everything it touches. And he decided to become his own test subject. And lo and behold, he becomes the Invisible Man. Now the movie starts, we learn this later on, the movie starts with him already becoming the Invisible Man. He's got all the bandages on, and really he's looking for a place, just a total quiet. He wants to set up his own lab somewhere very remote and come up with a cure for the invisibility, because he hadn't come up with one yet. Now, the side effects of the one particular drug have really made him this overbearing asshole. I mean, just mean-spirited, rude. He's become a murderer, just way over the top. And what's really awesome, it's not awesome. I mean, you grow to really despise this character. But Claude Rains, his voice work in it just makes the entire character. His voice is so it's so distinctive. It plays so well in this. It reminded me of the Joker from Batman. It was kind of played with that, like maybe like a Jack Nicholson Joker, like that. But because he played it a little off center, so it was cool. It was very cool. You can really feel kind of the madness in his voice. Now, but what made it difficult, I thought it was interesting because, since the movie starts off with him already being this character and being so mean, it made it very difficult to feel any sympathy for him. Because all we know is he's just the Invisible Man, and, and he's trying to come up with this cure, and he's very mean. So why should we feel any sympathy for him? But we'd learn, why? Why did he do this experiment in the first place? Is just because he was a scientist and he wanted to do something new? No. We'd learned that it was all for a woman named Flora, who was played by Gloria Stewart. And the same Gloria Stewart who was in James Cameron's Titanic, the older woman in that movie. This is her when she was younger. It turns out that Jack Griffin, who's the Invisible Man, he was a poor, kind of struggling chemist, and he had nothing to offer Flora. So he, furiously was working with these drugs to come up with an invisible potion. Invisible potion to gain fame and fortune and notoriety, so Flora would fall for him. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but really it's the whole movie is the story of of the Invisible Man trying to kind of cure himself, but it's all the kind of people along the way that he's harming in order to find this cure. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to spoil the ending. It's just, it's a really good flick. It only comes in at about 71 minutes, and that's okay. It works well. I also have to mention the performance by, what's her name? Una O'Connor. She plays the what was it? The tavern, the lady in the tavern, and I think she was also in Frankenstein. Her performance is way over the top, and it's hilarious. It's really, I mean, just if you want to see the Invisible Man for her performance, it's awesome. It's really great. Let's get to the special effects, because this was like cutting edge for 1933. Really, you watch this movie now and it still holds up very well. I mean, sure, it's, you know, it's not cutting edge now, but for then, goodness, you know, because he's taking off the bandages and he's invisible. It looks very well. We learned that in the making of on the DVD, they explain a little bit of the process, and it was like a 4-stage process in, you know, making the Invisible Man invisible. So it was like they would have to film him, you know, one way, and then kind of compose him in another way, and then put him in front of like a different screen. It was very interesting how they did it. You see some, you know, string work with some things, but you know, that's okay. It's not in your face. It's really only there if you're truly looking for it. So yeah, the effects still hold up very, very well. And oh, also, you know, I wanted to mention on the Blu-ray and the DVD set, you get, no, that's not true. It's just on the DVD. You get The Invisible Man Returns, The Invisible Woman, The Invisible Agent, and The Invisible Man's Revenge. That's just on the DVD set. They didn't port those over to the Blu-ray. You also get Now You See Him, The Invisible Man Revealed. It's a really good making of. It clocks in about, 35 minutes or so. And, you know, just kind of starts off with the H.G. Wells novel. Talks about how they got to hiring James Whale as the director, and then the casting, and then the making of the movie. Very interesting. I highly recommend watching that. And then there's an audio commentary with Rudy I think his name was Boehmler. It's a good audio commentary. He's a film historian. It's a little dry and scripted, but he's chock full of knowledge. The guy knew what he was talking about. And then you get a trailer and photographs and stuff. So that's on the DVD. The Blu-ray just had the original movie. This is the coffin set from the UK. But it did come with the same special features. They just didn't include the earlier movies. But that's The Invisible Man. In a nutshell, the performances were fantastic. Because Claude Rains, basically, it was just voice work for him. You don't see him until the very end of the movie. And it's great. I mean, it really sounds like Mark Hamill's Joker almost. It's just very kind of over the top, and he kind of commanded that role. Very good. But it's just this man's journey and trying to find the visibility potion, but really all the people he kind of harms on his way to trying to accomplish that. Really recommend watching it. Very enjoyable. Next week, I don't think we've announced what we're going to do next week. Not yet. But please check us out. It's going to be a good one. Hope you enjoyed the review. And I'll catch you next week.